Hi, welcome to Channel Squared, where we connect with you, the divine, and channel here with you live. I'm Heather Marie, founder of Soulgate.
And I'm Jody Lynn Craven, founder of Abundance Consciousness. And today we're talking about spiritual traps and your ascension. Ooh, sounds
This
like
should
we're
be
like
fun.
hunting or something.
Well, the thing about like spiritual traps is that they happen to everybody.
Mhm.
They're out there. I mean, that's what they're for, right? Is to ensnare you in something that maybe you either need to learn or somebody else needs to learn from it. I don't feel like spiritual traps are something that are necessarily misguided. I'd like to think that people are not that evil and rotten, but maybe they are. But I feel like they're playing a role in some type of experience. Boy, that was a hard word to get out today. So, so what are some of the spiritual traps, do you think?
I think the first one that drops in for me is the getting stuck in what is or how it has to be.
Mhm.
So, um, we get so stuck because this has been beaten into our heads within society. It's programmed into us that, there's somebody with authority that tells you how it is, and that's just how it is.
Mhm.
The law of gravity, whatever, law of thermodynamics, like all of these things that we feel are absolutes. It has to be this way. And a lot of people get stuck with, especially with the ascension process, because like, okay, well, tell me, what are the steps to ascension? Really, there isn't. Like, there is no right or wrong in anything. This is the duality, like where one exists, the other has to. Like, there's the both sides. So we get stuck in how we perceive it has to be, or we've learned something from a spiritual teacher, or religion, or wherever, from a teacher, somebody that we look up to, and they say it has to be like this, and we get stuck there. I think that is a trap.
Mhm. One of the things I feel like, I'm sorry, I'm having issue with my headset here, everybody. So, fun fact about Heather, she gets really annoyed with things on her ears. um, one of the things that I feel like I'm not going to use the phrase spiritual trap, but I feel like it's something that has come up with some of my clients recently. And that is the universal laws being used against them.
Ooh.
So when we all came here, right, we came here with a set of rules of the universe, the universal laws. And the most important one is the universal law of free will. And this is truly what the human experience is about. The human experiment was to test the law of free will. And when we came here to have this experiment, we were given the duality, the to see if good and evil can coexist. And the other side has to respect 100% of the time the universal law of free will, because that is the human experience. The thing is that I have had people that I've worked with that it seems as though this universal law of free will is almost being used against them, where guides maybe are not giving them the information that they are wanting to obtain because it may fly in the face of free will. And when that happens, there's only so much that the other side is going to support, right? Because the person who's being supported by the other side, who's here having the human experience, is is not following their law of free will. They're doing whatever the guides are saying to do. And
Mm.
this, I don't want to use the term spiritual trap in the way of like they're being like ensnared, but but it is kind of almost like a self-imposed trap, right? They receive the information from the higher power, guide, whatever, and then they act on it and they only act on it. They don't think about it with their own mind. They don't process it through their own human emotions. They're just like, oh, yes, okay, guide, I'm going to do whatever you say. And so now they're giving up their universal law of free will, which is almost a form of like personal spiritual trapment.
Hmm. Also, just even the belief system of they have to tell me what to do to be successful, to get more money, to la la la, whatever, right? It's taking
Right.
away that connection and your power within that connection, because as a soul, we're all connected. We're connected to everything that ever was and everything that ever has ever been in this reality, in this, I don't know, whatever dimension, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
We're connected to that infinite power, that infinite information, all of those things. And we're like a computer receiving in real time all the time. But then, especially as you become a channel or a guide or a teacher or whatever, a lot of times we'll sit and we'll wait. Oh no, I got to go into the channel and I got to receive specific guidance on exactly how this is supposed to go. And my only next step is to do this. And then it reminds me of that story of I something about the Bible, but it was like, God, I asked you to save me. And the guy is standing on top of a house as the whole place is being taken by water. And God replies down, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. Like, I sent you all of these things and you weren't paying attention. I was trying to save you. We're receiving information all of the time. And I think that the guided messages that we receive, we need to still use discernment and feel into it and also expand upon it. Like, does that feel good to go that direction and still have that autonomy or that free will? Because we're here experiencing it.
Yeah, one of the things that they said while you were talking is when you don't live, no one benefits. So when you are choosing to only follow guides and not make choices for yourself and not experience things for yourself, you're literally becoming a puppet for the other side. When you do this, nobody benefits. You don't benefit, they don't benefit. Nobody benefits. But if they are here to, support and guide you along your plan, along your journey, helping you get the experiences that you said you wanted to have when you came here, when you do these things and you actually do the thing that you said you were going to come here to do, everybody wins because they got to have a part in sort of guiding and steering you into the direction that you said you wanted to go. But if you don't go that way, they still win because they get to experience it through you. I
Mhm.
think one of the most frustrating things with working with people in their spiritual awakening is that they forget that they won the lottery to be here. This is one
Yeah.
giant playground of crazy.
Yeah. This is the
You
fair.
know?
All the rides. It's
Totally.
amazing. Yeah. We forget to appreciate that and
Mhm.
appreciate how it feels to experience that. Like, I love how you put that, Heather. We're here to experience. And when you're just letting somebody else tell you what to do, whether it's a physical person in this life or a guide team or whatever, like step one, do this, step two, do that. Are you really experiencing it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that that brings me to is perfection. Gosh, as human beings, we have this obsession with being perfect. Well, it has to be done perfectly, and my guides are going to tell me how to perfectly do it, and I have to ascend perfectly, and I got to be spiritually perfect, and there is no perfect.
No, no,
False.
there's not.
False. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know where we came up with this word. Ah.
One of the things that spiritual traps that is super frustrating, and this is a trap I feel like happens way more than it should, and that is the spiritual teacher trap. That one fucking makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. It makes me mad because people give their power away to their teacher and the teachers take it,
Yeah.
dude. Like, what the actual F, right? Like, it's super frustrating for me. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that have told me about like their spiritual teachers of the past, and there's like a spell on them. And I'm like, oh my God, why is this happening, right? I just hate that so much. It's such a trap,
Uh,
and there are teachers out there that it's almost like they feed on their students and it's like really gross.
totally.
It's just really gross. Like your teachers shouldn't be pinging you at any given time to like tell you something. That that's not healthy. That's not healthy.
No, or
Your
creating the
teacher,
relationship. Sorry, go ahead.
your teacher should be there to guide you and support you when the question arises, to illuminate blind spots when you're together in session. Your teacher isn't there to go, "Hey, I got a hit for you the other day, blah, 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 blah thing." Especially if you haven't worked with this person for a long time.
Mm. Mm-hmm. What kind of cord is still attached?
Exactly. Why are they still reading your energy? I'm really big on like spiritual housekeeping and like spiritual cleanliness and lack of not like voyeurism is something that I am like a huge advocate of ending. Like, don't help people that didn't ask for your help. Like, just don't do it, people. I know that you're loving and you're kind and you want to do it, but you are creating spiritual traps when you do that, right? You're like voyeurizing them. Like, do you want somebody like coming into your house and like touching your panties and then like
No.
leaving? Because that's kind of the same thing, right? Like you're reading their energy without them asking for your permission or
Mm-hmm.
giving you their permission to do it. And so, like these spiritual teachers that do this sort of thing, I just don't understand. Like, one, why are you doing that to somebody? Like, what kind of like twisted, weird shit are you into that you feel like you need to voyeurism your student? And two, like, why, as a student, are you allowing this to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Discernment, right? Like, God, we freaking beat that one in so much.
Well, and also cleaning yourself up. Like if people are doing that
Right,
to you, like there's a cord on your side too, so you can cut it off. You can put a bubble
right.
around yourself. You can protect yourself. You can say, no, no more. I am not allowing people to have access to me without my permission, and I rescind all permissions. Yeah, like that's
Yes, that is
super
my
simple.
favorite cleaning tool is to rescind all permissions. So if
Yeah.
you guys are watching right now, this is your sign to rescind all permissions. The wonderful thing about good spiritual housekeeping is that it's freeing, it's liberating, not just for you, but for whoever is attached to you or whatever place or thing that's attached to you. Like it frees them too. And it frees you up to have a different experience with the thing or the person. So, husband comes home from work, he's super pissy, had a bad day, traffic was horrible, got a speeding ticket, whatever, right? He's just a total crankster when he walks in the door. Snip, 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 snip. Okay. Cutting cords, cleaning, 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 rescinding all permissions. Woo,
Yeah.
woo, woo. Scrub yourself. not only does it free you and it gets the funk off, but it also frees them. And then you can have a different conversation. Oh man, honey, I'm sorry you had such a bad day at work. Do you want to talk about it? Usually they'll say, no, I actually just feel better all of a sudden. Imagine that.
Ah, as if by chance.
Yeah,
Uh, Another thing that I wanted to talk about with spiritual teachers is I've had a few different spiritual teachers like this in my life, but where they put themselves or you have put them on a pedestal and they have the answers and you must do it exactly the way that you want to. Whether, like I've heard different stories about different teachers saying, oh, no, you can't do that business because you're meant to do this business. Like, at some
totally.
point, you got to discern also with the human figures that are in your life. No, 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 no. I want to do this. I want this. And whether it's, ends up a good choice or a bad choice, or there really is no good or bad, but like maybe you learned something different going that route. There's a reason why you're being called to everything. So stop looking for somebody else to tell you. I mean, the coaches can guide you and the teachers can guide you, but also when you feel like they're telling you, no, 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 you can't do this, you have to do this, that is a huge red flag in my mind.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it happens a lot. I mean, it really happens a lot. I've had some spiritual teachers in my wheelhouse also that have done that to me. And it's terrible, right? Because, you are looking to them to be experts in guiding you, right? But then they're like guiding you into just this box. But intuitively, you know that there's something else, right? There's a different experience that you want to have, or you want to try something else, or do it a different way, or whatever. One of the things that this happens a lot also with channels. So I find that spiritual teachers that are channels tend to really be placed on a pedestal. 'Cause it's gross for us too. Like when my students are like, well, what should I do? Tell me the next step. I'm kind of like, well, but this is your business. This is your development. This is your experience. What do you feel is right for you? Or they say things like, uh, well, what do the guides say? What do you think? Who cares what they think? What do you think? You know, right? Like you have to think for yourself. You have to have an opinion of your own. You can't expect your teacher to just like put you into the box and tell you all the things to do. Like they can guide you and they can coach you and they can say, well, here's some options and perspectives to look at. But ultimately, it comes down to you and your experience. So don't put your spiritual teachers on a pedestal. Spiritual teachers don't get on the pedestal and keep asking questions of what your student wants to have in their experience. I've met
Empower
lots
them.
of, yeah, I've met lots of people over the years that have been amazing people that came here to do incredible shit and they've done none of it. And I'm like, wow, you are this and you're choosing that. That is unbelievable. But am I going to tell them, hey, bonehead, what are you doing? Like, that's not what you came here for. No way. That's not my role. Right? I
Hard not
gave
to
them the
sometimes.
information. I know, I know. Well, I gave them the information of who they are and why they came here and what they came here to do. But I'm not going to violate the universal law of free will. If they want to underwater basket weave, by all means, knock yourself out, even though you are here to teach some massive concept to accelerate the ascension of humanity. It's cool. We need more underwater basket weavers, okay?
It all works out in the end. It
Yeah,
really does.
yeah. One of the things too that I feel like is a spiritual trap is course correction. And I know you're already thinking like, how is that a spiritual trap? But I really feel like it's a spiritual
Yes.
trap because the thing is that people when they find out what their purpose is and like why they came here, they will like jump fully into that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll run for the hills.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is a course correction. So they're either course corrected into it or they're course corrected out of it. And the thing about it is if they don't take the course correction, a new like person is then placed in to fill that role. So I'm going to give an example of this. I am the result of a course correction. My incarnation here is a result of a course correction. So there was another channel that was brought in to help ascend humanity. That channel decided to not channel the ascension, but the degradation side of humanity and to bring people into the dark, right? The polarity, the opposite side of light. Okay. So when this occurred, I said, oh, I'm runner up. Let's go, humanity, right? So I came in and incarnated in that role to help ascend humanity through communication to create that bridge of humanity to what's beyond the veil. And so in doing this, I've came in with a clear understanding of I am the light side of the duality. So even if we're going to talk about deep dark shit, we're going to bring the perspective that it is duality and that it's not evil or bad, but it is that of duality. It's truth, it's clarity, right? So this other person who's incarnate at this time right now is chose a different way. And so the course correction was bringing in another to take the place. That was the course correction. And that can sometimes be a trap, right? Because if you said that you came here to do a certain thing and then you, law of free will, go a different way, a course correction could entrap you into what you said you wanted. Because now there's no way for this person to come back to this side. Just as there's really no way for me to go that way. It's an entrapment. So it's kind of a deep spiritual trap, and I'm not sure how deep we wanted to go here today, but there we went.
Here we are.
Here we
Yes.
are. So
I think we've
when
talked about
you,
this before in what is your purpose? You know, one of those episodes where there are certain things that is non-negotiable for your lifetime on this earth. So that's kind of what you're talking about is like some things are non-negotiable and it doesn't matter um like what you do, you will be led back to that over and over and over again. Um because it's non-negotiable for you, I think is what you're saying.
yeah, well, I mean, and it's, that comes down to your plan, right? When you sat there and you wrote your plan and everybody signed off on your plan and all the people signed up to be part of your plan, and they said, okay, how solid is this plan? Do you want to have a different, do you want an out? Do you want, if you deviate from your plan, are you going to come back and do this plan again later? And you said, no, this is the plan, and I don't care what it takes. I'm going to stick to the plan. Do whatever it takes, make sure I complete this plan. Then yeah, you're locked and loaded. No getting
Locked
out of
and
that
loaded.
one.
Get ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
So, what was our topic about? Oh yeah. Spiritual
Spiritual traps.
traps.
Spiritual
Yeah.
traps.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different types of spiritual traps. And I think that it's important that you keep an open mind and that you see the traps when they're there. And if you are a spiritual teacher, don't entrap your students. Like, come on. Like,
Mhm.
you're ridiculous. You're living your business out of fear. And you should not be teaching if you are running your business out of fear.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you
My
can
two
say that
cents,
about
not
life
theirs.
itself, really looking to everybody else, including guide teams, to tell you exactly what to do is running from a place or operating from a place of fear because, oh, I need
Right.
to do it perfect. Well, perfect does not exist. I need to do it right. Well, there is no right. Like you will
Right.
continuously be led, whether they're giving you specific instructions or not, to where you're supposed to go in this lifetime and what you're supposed to do. But it is way more fulfilling for all sides if you feel into it and you really allow yourself to have the experience rather than it being dictated by someone else. Let's be honest. Who wants to do that? Nobody. Come on. Come
Right.
on. Don't
100%.
want to do that.
Yeah, 100%. I agree 100% with that. It's just this is your life and no one else's. Take
So live it.
responsibility and ownership for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a mic drop right there. I
Mhm.
think that's perfect. If you guys have comments or thoughts or, just want to share an experience with us, make sure you drop it in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed. We definitely want to get this message out to so many more people, and that helps us do that. So thanks for watching today, and we'll be back next week.